Chapter 20. Penalty and Promise. Delmar crept quietly along the rocky bank of the Gihon, becoming a blend of earth, water, and sky as he moved closer to his target. Azam's hands ran across his belt, feeling for the cords keeping his weapons in place. Move in. Delmar followed the order with speed. He stopped right behind the watcher they were ordered to bind. Captain, no, this cannot be, whispered Delmar as he stood transfixed. Why? Just do it, Lieutenant. But, sir, Delmar said a little too loudly. At that movement, Anami was on his feet with bow raised. All right, you, come out. Drop it, Anami, said Captain Azam, and we can do this peaceably. What? Oh, it's you. I heard the rustling and thought you were fallen trying. We be no fallen, Anami, though I wish I could say the same for you, said Delmar. Why, Anami, why did you do it? Do what? I have done nothing. Don't add to your lies, to your treachery. We have been ordered to bind all watchers appearing in the flesh. Submit to the restraints, said Captain Azam bitterly as he whipped out a tether from his robe. It snapped and cackled in the air as its glowing tentacles reached for its prey. But, Captain, I didn't, said Anami, brightening and turning every color in the spectrum as his aura shifted, throwing rainbow-like prisms across the dark waters. Hold your peace, Azam. All is well, said a voice hovering over the water. My lord, said Azam, immediately bowing. Delmar followed suit. Anami was about to lay prostrate when a strong hand gripped him, holding him upright. Rise, Captain, Lieutenant. Good men, you did receive orders to retrieve all watchers appearing in the flesh. But I see no flesh here, do you? Azam and Delmar looked at Anami and back to the beloved, bewildered at the question. Azam was the first to speak. But my lord, he began hesitantly, his appearance is unlike the Elohim. It is unusual. Unusual, yes, but is it flesh? The beloved led Anami over to Azam, forcing him to face his captain. Go ahead, touch him. Azam reached out and placed a firm hand on Anami's shoulder. It remained. Had he possessed a casing of flesh, Azam's arm would have passed right through him. As you can see, his spiritual form remains dominant. He is not to be bound. Captain Azam lowered his head. My apology cannot overcome my error. Azam, said the beloved as he lifted the captain's chin with a gentle hand, do not be disappointed in your understanding. You are not judged for acting on a heart of loyalty. You were not meant to understand our intentions until now. Please, friends, be seated while I explain. Most sorry, Anami, murmured Delmar to Anami as they and Captain Azam sat around the smoldering ashes. Only the beloved remained standing. Until now, you have served on this planet with veiled underserve the humans and prevent unwarranted attacks by the fallen. But that is not the only reason for your presence here. While you were watching the humans, the High Council has also been watching you. The beloved raised a hand to silence the questions he knew were forming in their minds. You see, the Ancient One intends the Council to learn our way, and thus we allow them to see the reasoning behind our rule. The Council needed to be sure of one of the great laws, to see beauty of its logic in full play. Your presence here, especially those like Lieutenant Anami, granted that opportunity and provided reassurance. Now those of the Council commune fully with the one mind once more. All doubts raised by Lord Lucifer have been eradicated. Most glad to be of service, my lord, said Anami hesitantly, as vibrant red tones flushed through him and out into the night. He pressed on, ignoring the uncomfortable shifting, and asked the question he knew the others were thinking. But if you don't mind, what was the great law in question? Ah, of course you would want to know that, and this time I will share completely, although there will be times when you may not know. And after I explain this to you, I hope you would trust me to know that when those times occur, it is never to harm you, but it is for the eternal good. The beloved smiled at their childlike expressions as they eagerly waited for the answer. After the great conflict, judgment was decreed for the Elohim who followed Lord Lucifer. We knew many of you did not understand the extremity of their punishment, even though you were loyal. There was still great and confusion among the family. The unasked question, why, was ever present. Why was our way the only way? The ancient father and the one mind, too, agreed. The question must be settled for complete healing, and also the second, why are the Elohim not granted freedom? In fact, the two questions are both based on misrepresentations of the former cherubim Lord Lucifer, whose seat and statute on the council gave undue validity to the accusations. First of all, our way is not the only way. However, it is the best way. Secondly, the Elohim have always had freedom. The ability to choose is an instantaneous result of true intelligence. Yet in our unfathomable understanding, we have always known unrestrained freedom inescapably becomes bondage. We had hoped that precept need not ever be proved. Now that our accuser Satan has initiated a realm and the subsequent rebellion he instigated on Adama, the precept is being tested even now. But we knew the possibilities from the beginning and were prepared for such an occasion. The plan to restore the original sequence is in effect. When you, Elohim, selected as watchers, were sent to this planet, we knew you would be tempted by the humans. We knew this life form, so like you, but granted the one thing you are denied, the freedom to procreate, would be a source of confusion, just as we knew giving them every liberty except the right to partake of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which every Elohim accesses at will, would tempt them. Now here you both are, Elohim and human, intelligent, free, and tempted. How would you decide? The council wanted to know, would you freely choose to restrain yourselves? And most importantly, when should lack of restraint be judged? Or when it becomes action? Or, if you will, must every unrestrained thought become sin? The council had to know. Beloved, I understand the council's curiosity, for I share it, but I still don't understand how we provided the answers, said Delmar. The beloved smiled and motioned towards Anami. Look at your comrade. His very aura signifies everything I have explained to you. We knew based on the original sequence that he would feel special ties to the woman Tafara. My lord, so what I saw when I entered the gate at the Tree of Life was true? Asked Anami. It is not exactly true at this point in the sequence. It is more of an alternate progression that may yet be reconciled. The beloved paused, knowing Anami was still confused, and decided to explain it this way. Anami, the new multitude of colors in your aura represent the conflicting feelings, thoughts, and determinations you have experienced since meeting Tafara. Yet, you remain left your state, like Captain Samjaza, even though you too have wondered about the justness of my instructions and even the code itself. By your actions, Anami, the council knows that the Elohim are truly free. You could have violated the code and you didn't. Likewise, Samjaza's choice to depart and the others with him did. They too had the freedom to choose. So it was proved. Lord Lucifer had lied. The Elohim indeed were always free to choose, before the great conflict began and even now. Now the other accusation and the more important one, why is our way the only way, will be proved over many progressions and spans in the sequence. My lord, you have been gracious in the sharing, but if I may ask, Azam paused, looking away from the beloved, and began again. Well, Lord, you know, I was one of the ones who heeded Lord Lucifer. I listened to his talk of the deeper knowledge, and somehow I was spared, among all the others just like me who believed him, at least for a while. Why was I spared? The beloved, always bright, appeared instantly more radiant than they had ever seen him before. This new light still possessed his piercing clarity, which caused all the lords to tremble before him. Was more. Yes, it revealed all, but simultaneously understood all and forgave all. Dear Azam, you may have thought you succumbed to Lord Lucifer, but you did not. There was still a grain of trust in you that clung to me. Even in your unbelief, there was belief. I searched all of heavendom and all the Elohim, looking for those with even the tiniest speck of belief still remaining. And whenever I found it, I rescued the one possessing it. All this time you thought you were the only one. Many were rescued, but unlike you, Azam, they do not admit the doubt was ever present. That is why you were Ama and given a position of authority here. Though you were tested, you remained, and you now demonstrate an extraordinary capacity to lead your brethren with compassion. Your admission of your weakness has made you stronger. If it were possible for an Elohim to cry, Azam would have been said to weep at that moment. But since it was impossible for him to do so, everyone ignored the light which glistened outward from his cheeks in delicate waves of misty brilliance. Their mutual access of the one mind allowed them to experience Azam's joy as fully as if they were him. The beloved broke the communion, saying, "This brings me to the real reason for my presence. Anami, please rise." Lieutenant Anami stood perplexed at the announcement, ever embarrassed by the telltale spectrum fully exposing his fluctuations. The beloved laughed. "You will get used to it, Captain." A scanning prism of the deepest purple sliced through the sky as Anami's eyes widened. "Captain?" "Yes, the council has agreed. After careful consideration and observation, you have been selected to lead a new company. This time of the Watchers has ended. The usefulness of that function has expired with Captain Sanjaza's deceit. No longer will Elohim freely interact with the humans, to their detriment. I have decreed, and the council agrees, that the Elohim will serve as guardians to this life form, silent and unseen, yet powerful. The members of this new company will assist me directly in the restoration of the sequence. Captain Anami, are you willing to accept this role?" "Yes, my lord." Anami beamed with the solidarity of the purest white, a pearly hue more intense than his former aura had ever been. Then it wavered, fracturing into the soft mauves, pinks, and oranges of a fading sunset. "Beloved, there is one thing. Well, you said we could never speak or interact with the humans again. "Yes, Anami, that is essential to the success of the new mission." "I may never speak to her again?" said Anami, looking over at the girl, still sound asleep in the midst of the spirits communing around her. "No." "But what if she looks for me, expects me? She knows that I have been helping her." "Anami, permanence you experience as an eternal, not in their current state. Her memory of you will fade with time, and she will continue in her destined progression, as will the others. In time, the children of those who knew the Elohim directly will distort the stories of their encounters with you. They will become as fanciful as tales told to sleepy children. You will be all but forgotten if it were not for the record left by those chosen to preserve it." "I see," Anami sighed, "and I understand." "Good," said the beloved, "because your assignment is approaching." The beloved pointed to 3 men approaching from the grasslands towards the Gihon. "That looks like Enoch, and the other one lands towards the Gihon." "That looks like Enoch, and the other one, that's Methuselah, Enoch's son," said Anami. "It is," said the beloved. "But who is the other man? He is much larger than the—" Anami began. "Oh," Delmar interrupted, "that's a Mezrach. I almost didn't recognize him. But what's he doing with Enoch? He is in a suit of flesh, my lord. Shall we bind him?" "No, Delmar," answered the beloved. "Lieutenant Delmar, you never waver. A special gift you will also need in your new role as a guardian." Enoch stepped into the clearing first, followed by Methuselah, who immediately walked over to Tafara and gently shook the sleeping girl. Wake up! Father, she will not rise. Is she okay?" "A Mezrach, is there anything you can do?" said Methuselah as he looked over his shoulder at a Mezrach lying on the ground. "What's wrong with him?" asked Methuselah. "Nothing is wrong with him. Indeed, everything is right." Enoch looked at the spirit men surrounding him, no hand on Methuselah's shoulder. The beloved lifted a hand in greeting to a Mezrach, who dropped at his feet at the sight of him. "Captain Azam, take a Mezrach to the gate at Mount Arata. Our brother is coming home." "Home, my lord?" asked Captain Azam. "Yes, go with haste. A spark remains." "Right away." Captain Azam saluted as the two disappeared into a single point of light. Enoch grabbed his son by the shoulders, forcing him to leave the sleeping woman alone. "Do not trouble yourself, son. Tafara is fine. The Ancient One merely gives her deep rest. When she wakes in the morning, you two return to the Seti and take this with you." Enoch in Methuselah's hand. "What? No, father. How will you keep your records without it? You never let anyone—" Methuselah trailed off as the look in Enoch's eyes told the truth. "Are you leaving?" "You're going to seek the hidden father again, aren't you?" "Yes, Methuselah." "But how will you write down what is spoken without your scroll?" he asked, as he tried to push the scroll back into Enoch's hands, and then did a double take when he didn't see a Mezrach behind him any longer. The scroll dropped to the ground with a thud. "Oh, what happened? Where's a Mezrach? Where did he go?" "Methuselah," said Enoch in low tones, as he picked the scroll up and placed it again in his son's hands. Amezrach returned to his father, as I am returning to mine. Good, you can keep it until we go see Father Jared and the... Enoch hugged his son fiercely and gave him a kiss on both cheeks. Methuselah, I will not return with you. I am going home. Take care of your mother. It is up to you now. Enoch turned away and stood by the beloved. As he did so, Methuselah fell to his knees and shielded his eyes. The soft glow emanating from his father in recent days became blindingly bright, filling and consuming everything in its path, making the earth rumble. But my lord, said Anami, staring at Enoch with confusion, I thought you said my assignment was coming. Is not Enoch my assignment? No, Anami, said the beloved, whose voice sounded like the quaking earth to Methuselah. Enoch will live out his days in heaven's realm. His son Methuselah is in your care. Guard him at all costs, for through him the seed is coming. Anami's spectrum joined in the light of the beloved. The varying colors danced in brilliant conflict with the golden sun. But what of the man Enoch? Why is he granted escape from the penalty all other humans must face? The sin of Adam still rages within him. Heavendom will grant him permanence. Did you not say that all who sinned would surely die? The beloved smiled with merriment and with a hint of something new. Ah, did I not tell you there were some things you could not know? At least